own time, but is it still their time? Are they still very good? And so far, they look, I mean, they're very good for Challenger. And you've got guys that are, you know, either have had really middling success or they're just straight up newcomers in the Challenger scene or in the competitive scene. And that's, you know, Maple on one hand, RF and Remilly on the other.
That's true. That's true. I think everybody on the Renegade squad has had LCS experience except for Remilly and RF.
Right.
RF, fairly new, just came of age to even compete in Challenger. So immediately seeing him jump in there, long-time streamer, but now trying to get into the LCS on this Challenger squad. But we talked about Alex, he's the guy to watch. I want to watch what he plays today because he constantly brings out different things. We saw his Varus earlier where he got 2 kills, lined him up when in the qualifier finals. Really, really just deep champion pool. Now that he's back in the mid lane, it's always a question mark of what is he going to play and how are they going to play around that. And a very surprising thing is if we watch those replays over again that we just saw from yesterday, Crums is constantly ganking bottom lane. Now, all throughout outside tournaments, qualifiers, it was always the Crums, Alex Each, RF synergy that you had to watch out for. It was kind of like Maple and Remilly were on their own island. He kept ganking that bottom lane because Alex is up against KT Smurf, the substitute for C9T, and they have full confidence that he's going to win that matchup head-to-head.
Yeah, that kind of worked out pretty well for him, of course. That was a good win by Renegades, but here we are in Game 2. The bans have come through, and a lot of the default team fighting options are off the field. Sivir and Alistair away, and thing is, Cloud and Tempest is the one actually having to ban the like conventional OPs, the Echo and the Rise, and of course Remilius Thresh as well, leaving a lot of kind of really different things available. First pick Kalista comes through, and jungler's not contested at all.
Yeah, the first pick Kalista, it was actually banned away previously. Sivir banned away from Laud. Laud before yesterday, when his Sivir got taken away by Maple Street first round, he had played 15 straight games of Sivir in competitive play. So he's pretty much always defaulting to that champion, and it allows C9T to pick their fights. So banning that away from C9T is pretty much a must in champion select.
Yep. So that did get denied out. It's in fact their very first ban. They knew how important this was, but maybe Laud can be lane dominant. Now Renegades Thresh off the field, fine, will take the Annie away. That was what Sheep had played last game, so maybe removing some more options here. And Crums, despite the fact that Rek'Sai is still open, says, you know what, I'm fine to blind pick the early take on Gragas. We don't feel anything else is all that important or contested, so Renegades not showing any of their carry roles.
Yeah, might be the time to take your Rek'Sai jungle away and not show anything else. Maybe your top lane, maybe your support, depending on what you want to see come out from Renegades.
I mean, it feels like support's easy enough to pick here, I would expect, but you know, show one of your strong duo lanes. I mean, Annie's already off the table, so the Annie Kalista combo's gone. I really like Kalista Morg, but they're looking at Rumble, and as you said, the Rek'Sai comes through, so showing the top lane pick here, Solo going to be playing Rumble up there.
So far it's a little bit of skirmishing, a little bit of team fighting here from C9T. Renegades, though, like this is mid-game power spike over here on C9T side. On Renegade's side, so far it's team fight. Picking the Annie, showing you want to start team fights off immediately on the right foot. Want to see what they pair with this, though. Maple Street, in terms of AD carries, he's really in solo queue just been playing Kalista, Urgot, Lucian, and Sivir. Two of those taken away. Lucian's not that great. Urgot's actually really good against Kalista. I would not be surprised to see that one picked up here. So it is. Urgot picked up, but Kennen...
Interesting.
I think Kennen into Rumble is actually a good matchup for Kennen, if I remember correctly. Yeah, okay. I think so. I think it's a really good matchup here. RF has played it before.
Yeah, I actually agree. I do like the matchup as well. You have a lot of stun potential with a Gragas up there. Like, you've got some real gank pressure. Rumble's one of the easiest to gank champions in the game, really just relying just on flash. And with a ranged champion, it's much easier to outplay Equalizer as well. So, yeah, I think this has the makings of a very good matchup for Renegades here. We don't see a lot of Kennen players out there. I'm a fan of the champion.
You get to auto-attack harass him, too, pretty much all lane long. And you never really have to worry too much about him getting too close because you just stun him. Yeah,
but the interesting thing is you just start Doran's Shield and you don't take that much damage because Scrap Shield's free. And then if your opponent ever pulls aggro, you just pop Flame Spitter. And like, there's ways to turn it around. Either way, dwelling not too much in the matchup anymore.
But it's more team fight.
Yeah.
You're going for more team fight, more AoE wombo.
Both guys have a lot of team fight wombo.
Exactly.
I mean, you have Annie and Kennen up here on this side, and C9T maybe with the Nautilus for some more crowd control. What's their mid laner going to be? And KT Smurf says Varus. So a lot of lockdown, actually. Nautilus into Varus into Rumble is a heck of a lot of CC. And then you've got kind of the follow-up DPS of, honestly, all three carried lanes. Rumble with his second Flame Spitter is going to do a lot of damage.
And KT Smurf, the new guy on the squad, kind of standing in for Yusui. He's not available until week 2. So KT Smurf, he played yesterday, played Victor. 1-4-3, 1 KDA on him. not very great showing out of the gate up against LXH, and his champion pool is really like Azir, LeBlanc, Vladimir, Victor, these types of champions, and seeing him pull this out, the Varus, I'm thinking it's more of a, we don't want LXH to kind of round out this comp with that, because right now when you look at Renegades, they need wave clear. They need some type of wave clear because Urgot doesn't have it, Kennen doesn't have it, and they're going to go with more team fight here. They're not going to go with it. They're not going to go with wave clear on the Renegade side. They're going with just pure fight.
And they're really relying on Gragas ulti. It's interesting because like Annie has a great lockdown stat, and normally like it gets spread apart by Gragas, but if you pop the last breath in time, they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's really just Alex that's relying on Crums for the gank pressure, but once again we have a very strong sort of duo gank power. Gragas into Yasuo or Gragas into Kennen, both very strong against low mobility, easy to gank solo lanes, and even though you talked about how much Renegades had ganked for their bottom lane last game, I feel like it's even better to gank for the solo lanes in this one. Again, early aggressive Gragas, good follow-up lanes. Early pressure feels really good for Renegades here.
There's still a lot to get out of ganking the bottom lane. You have a slow, you have a stun in there,
yeah.
Very immobile Nautilus. Like, there's still a lot of payoff for ganking
until Kalista hits
all
6.
of these lanes. Exactly. When he hits 6, though, that's when it kind of turns around. Then you just go for Kalista and knock her in the into the team,
well,
if you can.
You hope you reach her, yeah. Like
yeah, you have to rely on Remilia at that point to set it up.
Yep.
But regardless, there's basically a whole lot of options for Crums to gank, a whole lot of gank assistance, but I'm worried about the wave clear here from Renegades. They have to be able to get out to a good lead. So the problem there, can't fall too far behind.
The one saving grace, at least, is that Yasuo has like a million split push possibilities for himself, so they have like some kind of holdover, but you're right. No wave clear, definitely going to be a big risk. Now, guys, the teams load onto the Rift. Let us know who you think is going to win this game and claim victory. Tweet hashtag C9T-win or hashtag RNG-win to @LPL We'll check the score in just a few minutes. Let us know who's going to win. Only fitting that the crit-based Yasuo is played by Team RNG, so we'll see if he can win the fight by just auto-attacking 4 times on the Varus, and then congratulations, your tag will suit you well. But this will be interesting. Renegades winning game 1. Certainly, these are 2 of the strongest teams believed to be heading into the Challenger Series. We got to see them play throughout the qualifiers.
2 newest as well.
And yeah, they're the 2 of the newest, I suppose, and 2 of the sort of power rankings-wise highest ones here. And Renegades getting the best of game 1. We'll see if game 2 goes the same way. If they can continue the trend of the 2 zeros in Challenger here in the summer split, we're getting ourselves into the game.
I got to see how KT Smurf delivers on this mid lane Varus against LXH, who swapped over to Ignite from the cleanse that we had previously seen. So this is just a full-on try to kill that backline once you dive in. Set up from Crums kind of team composition here. So the ideal wombo is Remilia stuns, RF runs in, Crums throws his ultimate onto multiple stunned players, and then LXH just hopefully slamming his R key on 3 or more people.
Yep. I think no matter what, Alex, like, if you could like set up a macro that pressed R, like just every quarter second at all times throughout the game, it would probably always be the right choice.
It's the turbo controller.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing. Just bind the button. C down all the time.
I was first introduced to the turbo controller when my friend played E Honda in Street Fighter, and he just had the fist thing coming out where he just palms you like 40 times.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't even get in here, and he just like drops the controller, and he's still beating me.
You realize that fists and palms are pretty much exactly opposites?
Yeah, I was thinking of the fist, and then it was no. He actually just palms you.
Yeah. Just saying, you can't like palm someone while making a fist. It's like basically impossible. So
Yeah.
Just making sure you get your story straight for the next time. If you
Well,
want to tell the story again.
I clarified.
Yeah.
I caught myself.
I mean, clarity's important here at Riot. Let's see what we got. Looks like Cloud9 Tempest going to be setting up a lane swap for themselves. As
You know how you can tell that there haven't been any invades in Challenger? It's when we have something completely irrelevant to say in the first 1 or 2 minutes, where we're talking about palms and fists and how they're opposites. That's when you know invades are not coming out. Once again, it's just lane swap here from C9T, blind lane swap. They just put the wards down a line of scrimmage. Sheep, though, interrupts the jungle start. He's going to de-aggro, and he's going to walk back towards where Crums is. Crums has his smite, though. He's going to smite it away. Sheep a little too far forward.
a little bit of damage from RF, so no gank going to happen here. Looks like a pretty safe jungle clear. One of the nice benefits of a ranged top laner, in fact, is that you can really help set that all up and push people around. Remilia, ranged support, can't stop much. 2 camps picked up safely. by the Cloud9 Tempest duo jungle, and both teams have been able to grab a greedy red buff that they weren't really entitled to.
Yeah, Remilia not in time to actually steal anything away to stop level ups. If you steal one of those tiny ones, you actually throw off experience.
But yeah, she had done, I think she actually was given solo XP on the Gromp that she was doing with Maple Street. And through that was like, hey, I'm a really threatening Annie now. Like, I think she charged up her Q off the Gromp and had W, and I was like, all right, let's go do battle. I'm going to find you in the jungle. But not too greedy. All is well. KT Smurf still farming what he can. Remilia still on the hunt. You can see both supports nearing the side. And with a ward, looks like all will be well.
80 carries sitting around, solos in those lanes. And yeah, it's good by C9T to send the Kalista to the top lane. You don't want it laning against an Urgot, regardless of the support. It's always just a very oppressive lane for the Kalista when the Urgot just throws out so many spells, the lock-ons. It doesn't matter that you can jump around. You just gotta dodge the Noxian Corrosive charge. But it's too much of a risk. You lose the lane if you don't do it twice.
So out they go. Cloud9 Tempest is going to have their 4-man top lane happen. No opposition whatsoever. Renegades doing the exact same thing here. So quite mirrored starts. We'll see if the team at the bot side, which is Renegades, will be able to get Dragon off of this one. They're certainly going for the turret first, and I actually want to see a team actually fully push the wave like much sooner and like go for turret number 2. Because with how late Cloud9 Tempest are actually hitting that turret, I feel you could hard push and go for another one, but maybe that wouldn't work because like you could TP. I don't know. I haven't seen like that permutation play out, but it looks like we're gonna have just a simple lane freeze. Looks like they'll have to push another wave in though.
Yeah, because that one wasn't gonna completely freeze either. The risk though is if you do get called on the push, that wave gets to sit under that turret, and you don't get to farm that wave and freeze it.
Yeah.
So this is the more calculated, just standard.
This one will definitely freeze though. It's gonna be basically 2 waves. Pushing in towards Cloud9 Tempest turret, so a very easy freeze to maintain. Bot lane turret will go down. This will be a bit more difficult of a freeze, but still should be one all the same.
And this is the point in the game where top laners finally get farm. Woo!
Man, 5 CS to 3, they got more than supports do.
Top laners in solo queue, just be glad you don't play top lane in competitive.
It's true. KT Smurf a bit behind Alex Itch. Nice win while they'll blocks all the harass. 5 CS lead in the mid lane. Alex's Yasuo doing just fine here.
Everybody's stealing KT's CS. They walk up. Now he's going to get even more here for himself.
Aww. So Alex is maxing the dash first, by the way. We've seen... I keep seeing the builds go back and forth. It seems like most commonly they do max the dash.
Yeah.
Even after the nerf that happened like a year ago.
I see back and forth. The fact that it doesn't stack, but the cooldown on it goes down a tiny bit, just minuscule amounts.
Oh, no, enough to matter by a lot.
Yeah, but it adds up is the bigger part of it, because you get to just use it for mobility and dash through waves. So I've seen people put 3 points in it and then start maxing Q for the damage output. So I want to see what he does this game, because he has 3 points in it currently. We won't start seeing what he does until level 6, or level 7 actually.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll keep you guys posted at home. Meanwhile, the lane swap from Cloud9 Tempest, their dual lane to the bot side, actually getting a lot done, as Renegades actually chose to send their dual lane back to the top side. So once again, we're in 2v1s. RF gets what farm he can, but he's level 3 on Kennen and losing a lot of health in this turret. Of course, Rumble solo can't feel good about the Urgot matchup either.
This lane swap really putting a damper on the jungle activity. You can see Crums. He was top just trying to shove the waves, but it's just crashing into Solo's turret. He's picking up that farm, no problem. Alex H6 though. KT Smurf still sitting on 5. He has to respect the knockup from Alex, just constantly throwing out those piercing arrows, trying to get an advantage. Alex H early Bilgewater Cutlass though.
Yeah, I mean he's in a melee matchup. It's definitely going to hurt him quite a bit. So the lifesteal makes a lot of sense. Alex chugging potions, staying alive best he can. Also has boots 1 to try to get away from Rek'Sai ganks.
Also helps him dodge arrows a little bit.
Yeah, definitely does matter for the matchup.
All around good buys. You see a lot of people try to rush the static shiv for the crit and the attack speed, but the Bilgewater Cutlass is a great sustained buy here. It's going to give him a lot of lane presence and sticking power.
Especially when his major damage is coming from the E anyway. It's not like he needs to crit his non-existent damage right now. So I do understand the build. It also is, the lifesteal focused, 1v1 focused, split pushing sort of build. And that is a trait that C9T can't deal with. Like again, you talked about the Renegade's lack of wave clear, and the point I was making right before the Twitter point was who's gonna fight Yasuo late game? Alex Itch is the highest CS in the game, highest level in the game, and who exactly is gonna fight that guy? No one?
Split push-wise, it's going to be very difficult.
Even side tries.
So, like, even if KT Smurf goes up against him, Alex each has so many ways to outplay him. Just think about it for a second. If you do get the knock-up onto him...
Oh, hold on.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, just a flash. Keep going.
All right. If you do get the knock-up, Alex each is going to take it, and then if you're the Varus, he's going to try and wind wall point blank on himself. And what is your escape tool? A projectile.
Yep.
You throw your R out. Hopefully, for your sake, he doesn't wind wall it point blank, but it's very likely since it originates from behind him and goes forward and emanates out. So Alex each has a lot of tools, and you have to hope that you don't die, or at least you survive at least 3 Qs and an ulti. It's going to be a tall order for everybody on this team, considering it's a triple threat team that, you know, you aren't a big fan of, but they've gone with here on C9T's side.
Yeah, well, Cloud9 Tempest going to keep on pushing in towards the jungle. Crums gets the smite on his blue. Of course, who else would need it? It's an energy and a flow user, so not a big problem for Crums to have to smite that one away. Invade doesn't really succeed in anything for Cloud9 Tempest. They do knock the bot lane down, though. Lod and Sheep break through RF, knock his turret down. Solo in his 1v2 actually managed to get more farms than Kennen. Kept his turret alive as well, so the C9T 3 lane swap worked better for the blue side.
I love that. KT Smurf throws his arrow the opposite direction instead of throwing it into the wind wall.
I mean, the thing is, if he had just held the Q down, he would have gotten part of the mana and cooldown back. It refunds half its mana cost if he just doesn't throw it out. Why even bother?
I don't need the spell. I don't need your mana.
And then he chugs a mana oh, no, it's a flask. But still, like... Come on, bro.
Yep.
That's just insolent.
It looks like Alex, though, he is putting points into his Q after the 3 points in his E.
Yeah, there you go. You're right.
Yeah,
That's the build.
You put 3 points into E to make sure that you can dive around early on, have that lower cooldown, and then you go with Q for the damage.
Yep. All right, well, Cloud9 Tempest stay in the bot lane after knocking down the turret. They recalled, bought some items, and went right away for the dragon. Clean and easy pickup. Renegades forced to play a bit more
he just
defensively.
point blank wind walled it. What's going to hit him now?
Kalista ulti onto Sheep. They're going to try explosive cast to separate them. Alex Itch will slink away alive, but he did burn his flash for only some ulti cooldowns.
Sheep not level 6 just yet. He's fairly close to it. You can see his experience bar on the bottom left.
Solo pulled aggro, though. He's got to pull right back out.
They get Alex's flash.
A lot of damage mid.
The ultimate, and they get a lot of damage. This turret's going to go down.
I'm surprised they're respecting Amelia so much. These melees could honestly just face tanker and go for it. They're going to find Crums, though. A lot of damage being dealt, but no equalizer going to come out, as it was already used and Solo overheated anyway.
So they get that mid turret just purely off of siege power. Up top, RF is catching a lot of waves, catching a lot of CS, and Maple Street shoving out the bottom lane almost to go back to even. But the fact that that turret is in the favor of C9T, 2 turrets actually at this point, is really big.
And RF has just been sitting around trying to catch up farm for now. They kept trying to give him these safe lanes, put him back in the top lane that they felt was safe, or sorry, in the bottom lane that they felt might have been safe, put him back in this top lane as a freeze here under his tier 2 turret, trying to get this Kennen alive, but RF hasn't even built any useful items. It's double Dorn's Blade boots. Like, these are just laning phase items. It's a really slow road forward for this Renegade's top laner.
I like the fact that C9T keep forcing the issue, though, on turrets. You can see up 3 to 1, that 2-turret advantage, because RNG has no wave clear. The way you exploit this team is you don't...
Some turrets.
You siege turrets, you poke, you don't engage until they're poked down, and even then you stay out of their threat range until you just get that turret down.
Yeah.
Because this team wants to engage on you with like 4 different people. Just poke them out.
Yeah. And what's impressive as well is the fact that they've managed to dodge the Urgot Annie lane the entire time. They have never once had to face Lod and Sheep against Maple Street and Ermilia. Really rough night lane matchup. The Urgot strong against Kalista. Not going to happen here. Maple's just honestly been a fairly useless AD carry. He could have been anything at all and would have had better turret pushing, better bully potential, and better utility in team fights. So if the Urgot was picked for the laning phase, that got bypassed by clever lane swaps by Cloud9 Tempest.
A blind lane swap, too.
Yep.
They just did it because they weren't going to go bottom. They weren't going to be on that bottom side of the map. And that also means that RF didn't even get to exercise his Kennen advantage with his range.
Yep.
Kennen is okay in a lane swap because you get to farm out of the turret a bit, but they didn't allow that. Whoa, trying to catch out Alex hard. Has his flash.
I think they're trying a little bit too hard.
Well, yeah, they know that Alex doesn't have flash. They could spend more summoner spells to try and catch up to him, but it's still very risky.
It's not a big problem. There's no dragon coming up for a while, so Cloud9 Tempest don't need that cooldown right now. The outer ring of turrets already been knocked down, so at this point, they're really just playing for wards anyway. Pushing Alex out of the map for some time gives him more room to ward, so I think it's totally an okay use of that cooldown, because I don't think it'll backfire in most cases. As it stands, C9T is going to run into the jungle. They've got a couple of decent wards down. They take some camps away.
RF is still freezing top.
Yes.
RF is still freezing top. He's getting the CS for himself. Bottom lane is just going to be sieged up and shoved in. RF would have to find a way to TP into this fight, but like you said, 2 Doran's blades and boots. He has nothing that's going to amplify his magic damage. He has to back right now after shoving this wave. They're just going to continue to poke, continue to get damage down onto this turret. Is it going to be a TP play from RF?
We got 1,500 gold. He goes for the early haunting guy, so the zone is even further delayed.
He goes back top as well.
I don't like the haunting guys buy. I think being that far down, you just need Zonius to be able to do something. And make sure that your backline engage sticks. There's not exactly a lot of burst on C9T, but like, I just feel like you really need Zonius to make Kennen work. Especially like in a 20-minute team fight. Well, RF definitely better Kennen player than me, though. We'll see how his build ends up mattering. Just doing what he can to wave clear. This freeze... Now, the interesting thing is, I remember... Last time I saw a game like this, this was CLG versus TSM back in spring 20... I think it was the second time they fought. And Zion Spartan froze for so incredibly long in the exact same spot that CLG stopped warding it because he was under his turret, which meant that the complete lack of wards allowed TSM to go take a Baron. And this is obviously 7 minutes in the future at this point, but if your top laner is freezing top lane at 20 minutes, you probably don't ward for it, and the rest of your team is bot lane, which makes Baron a potential thing. Again, very far in the future, but last time I saw this was the payoff.
Is that when Double Lift had to back because he was sitting on like 1,800 gold? And
probably.
And he was just mid lane on a ward backing? I think so.
I don't remember that part of it. I just remember how the vision control ended up panning out because of where the assignments were. And of course, lane unfrozen, RF pushes it back out. And the thing is, he did buy a laning phase sort of item, that Haunting Guys, and now he is facing up against his Rumble, so he's playing the longer game to play for this lane matchup. It's going to be fine. Teleports up for both top laners here. Solo and RF can both show up. It is a big level lead for RF, though, 9-7, as that freeze has manifested in a lot of advantages here in the one-on-one fight, if that battle continues.
20 CS up, 25 CS up now for RF. He's getting to lane out this Kennen. He's 2 levels up at the moment. Solo, fairly close to level 8. There we go. Levels up. Just that 1 level advantage, though, but it's a solid 1 level.
Right, and the thing is, you mentioned the fact that Renegades have no wave clear, but they have the split push power. They picked every single lane matchup as a winning lane matchup, as a matchup with, especially could be really great with the Gragas intervention. If Renegades can force the game back into a 1-3-1, or just some kind of a general default setup where you're facing these battles over and over and over again, that's a setup that Renegades want. Okay, C9T gets into the Dragon. Not really exactly a surprise here. We've still got 18 minutes until Dragon 5 comes on the map. If Renegades can actually abuse these lane matches into something good, then this battle starts going back better for them. $1,300 gold game. 16 minutes in is not exactly a huge lead, so 5% gold lead, that's not anything to really speak home about. The Dragons are stacking up ever so slowly, and Cloud9 Tempest's deep wards have literally all gone away. There's a single ward past the river, that was a Dragon ward. So C9T have to get all those global advantages have dissipated, and they've got to earn them all back now.
Alex going to split push mode now. He has the static shiv. He didn't even turn the build Water Cutlass into a Blade of the Rune King. But Solo, he's got 2 of his penetration items right now. And Alex just shows up into the lane. They're just trying to deny some CS from Solo. They're trying to shove waves out, and they want to get that split push on.
The problem is split push without deep vision is difficult, and I spoke to C9T having no deep wards. Renegades have literally 0. And they don't even have upgraded yellow trinkets, so Alex can't put his own wards down. RF just now got his, but I don't know if he's going to make a lot of progress, considering he's facing the Kalista now in his lane matchup. Alex pushing in heavily without any wards at all.
Level 11, though, to the level 8 of Solo. So the 3-level advantage, see if he can do anything with it. They're trying to get deeper wards here with Crums.
They can lock up Crums. He's going to flash away from that one. Smurf could have popped the ulti in to buy a bit more time.
I don't know if they have the damage follow-up just yet. Solo, though, has TP. He can show up into these fights when they force them. Alex Each does not have a way to get into these fights.
Yeah, I don't know if Solo can fight Alex Each is the problem. He's down 2 to 3 levels. He's down about 100 CS. Yeah. I don't know if he can really stop Alex from knocking this turret down.
You can continue to try and wave clear. Alex really can't make it up to the turret. He'll clear the wave, but then Solo will just clear it right back. I'm trying to see how much progress he can actually make on this. I don't think it's much.
Yeah, it depends how safe he feels. Looks like Solo with Magic Pen is enough to... So Alex is just playing the farm game. He's just getting waves. He's making Rumble miss the occasional CS on the turret and then like taking a jungle camp in between each wave. So you're right, no turret pressure, just...
As you're going mid now.
Farm.
Clearing out Raptors, looking towards the mid lane here to clear it out. The rest of his team is going to try to loop through. Maybe they'll get some damage on this turret because it is a fairly large wave. And the wave clear of Callista is not present. The wave clear of Varus, not there yet either. So they might get some decent damage on this mid lane turret. We'll see. Yeah. Nope, just the wave clear.
I mean, how exactly who sieges on this Renegades team? It's triple melee. Sorry, no, it's dual melee. But like,
they're looking at Maple top.
The range champions are pretty short range. Maple Street gets stunned up, but he's not anywhere near close to dying. RF cancels the teleport, realizing that Wad and Sheep would have been safe. Nothing gained at all, but that is a 3-minute cooldown for the cancel teleport. Alex has 2 enemies nearby him, but Renegades have managed to make the game back about the laning phase. And look at this gold now. It's within 600. This was nearly a 2,000 gold lead before. In fact, this is still a 2-turret lead for C9 Tempest, and yet it's a 700 gold game.
Yep.
Renegades playing for farm, playing incredibly slow, and it is working.
And this team just wants to fight you later. But the thing is, they have to get that explosive team fight that they win right off the bat, or the pick with the bottom lane synergy here. They're looking for all of these scenarios where C9T are ideally grouped up. And if C9T want to siege, eventually when they get to those tier 2s, they'll put themselves in those types of situations. And it's up to RNG to capitalize off of that, because C9T can just poke you down. You have to dodge the poke, you have to use the wind wall appropriately. We're only 20 minutes into the game, and as they approach those tier 2s and get the vision down, that's the key. But another thing is, C9T, if they really want to, they can just poke you out and keep getting objectives. They can keep getting the dragon over and over again until they have 5 dragons, and then they just win the team fights anyway.
That's true. Definitely a ticking clock here for Renegades to make sure they can actually start a battle. KD Smurf recalls on top of a ward. Minute 35 on Dragon. Baron's up, and RF is missing his teleport. Now, his teleport will be up right around the time Dragon respawns. That's pretty much an identical cooldown. You see, there's always that random chance that Baron gets rushed. With double AD carry, it's a possibility.
Muramana already completed for Maple Street, and if you look over at the one on KT Smurf, he is 440 out of 750. So KT Smurfs is not going to come on for a long time when Maple Street already has his transformed.
And maybe that means that Renegades are happy to fight right now. Yeah. Double Magic Pen done. RF is level 11. Dragon 1 minute away.
Exactly what they're going to do here is they're going to set up for the Dragon. They're going to set up 100% around it on RNG side, and they're not going to back. They're going to stay here for this entire minute and try to manipulate these waves. Crums uses his smite, takes the red away.
The thing is, C9T, I think, are still in the driver's seat, and they have 2 plays they can make. They can play for top lane. It's slow pushing right now. They even had someone ping the wave saying, hey, top's pushing out. I honestly think it's okay to give Renegades, like, all this time on Dragon. Make them play for Dragon. When they go drag, you push mid and top. You get 2 turrets for it.
You need vision, though, on C9T side. So C9T, they're trying desperately to get in here. 20 seconds onto the Dragon, but you can't go into a corridor against this team. There's so many choke point advantages.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to stun you. RF's going to run straight at you with the cannon. And Yas was just going to capitalize off of that.
You get the same thing from Nautilus Rumble Varus, though. Like, if you run headlong into either of these teams, it's bad. So it's really about the flanks and the positioning here.
Well, who gets there first, too? So RNG, the fact that they've held this position for a minute because they've been trying to deny the ward coverage is really big. Alex Each bottom side, though, trying to make it so that he can actually find a good way into this fight.
The top lane wave is about to reach the turret. It's probably 15 seconds away from reaching.
They don't even want to fight.
Pushes down the minions.
They want to keep shoving minions in.
Yeah. Mid shoved in. Alex does not get himself down to the bot lane. He's actually cut off here, so if they go for it fast enough, he could only rely on explosive cask. Cloud9 Tempest unable to sweep many of these wards away
RF
now.
has to go top.
They're spotted. Yep. Well, RF is going top with teleport, though, and he doesn't have any great TP wards, but He's going to look for this one right here. Crums looks for the hard engage. Explosive hits KT Smurf. He flashes out, and LPL is going to try to fight Lod. He gets a lot of damage.
Oh my God!
Gets to the first blood kill, gets the knockup for the second, and wow, Renegades crush this battle 4-0. Solo gets slowed down.
Oh, the ace!
Gets chunked down, and ace for the dragon fight. Renegades, what a battle.
LPL in that fight. We got to see that again, because his flash in the hectic fight right over the ultimate from Varus. Super smooth there. That's a huge advantage. RNG were down 2K off of the turrets. They make it almost even before the fight, and then they execute perfectly on that fight. They get KT Smurf, they get Lod in the back line. LPL, huge capitalization there, and everybody just melts to the Wombo combo. No poke ahead of time, instantly engaged, Sean.
It wasn't even Wombo combo. Crumb set up one ult target.
Yeah, like 3 skirmishes.
I reached, yeah, exactly, and it worked. So
we got to see this. Alex crits, knocks him up, the flash away immediately, throws the windmill to the side, goes after Lod, crit, Q, flashes over
Man, that was
to
nice.
EQ again. And then he finishes Lod off
with a tornado.
with the steel Tempest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm always interested to see what LPL is going to pick in these games. And I'm always impressed, too. He's also looks like he's going to go for a Black Cleaver next. He's got the Phage.
I've seen Triforce. The reason being it's worth 10 crit, which makes it line up really well against Infinity Edge.
It makes up for that crit that you lost when Infinity Edge lost a little bit of crit. I see that.
And it's great with the Q. It lines up and applies Triforce. Like
it also gives you a little bit more HP, which is very good on Yasuo. Movement speed is always really good as well because it helps to increase his flow generation. Like, there's a lot of good things about that item, but we'll see what it ends up being for.
You generally see him, from what I've seen, you see him stop at Phage for a while. Like, you remember the Team Impulse game? Yeah, where it was like Giant Spell or Bomby Cinder, Yasuo? Like, you stop at Phage for a long time, because it's actually pretty good on its own, so.
Yeah, the idea behind that for top laners, where you Someday does it where he sits on a Giant Spell, and then we saw Bomby Cinder, is because of the fact that you need an HP item to stay healthy in the team fights. Because when you jump in, it's always blow up the Yasuo, get through his shield, and so that really helps you stay alive. You can see 5 pink wards already for RNG for the Renegades across their inventories. Everybody's just ready to contribute to the Vision game.
Yeah, really good by them. Good color matching. And they're going to move on and continue to try to play as aggressively as possible. 4,000 gold puts Renegades ahead here, but Cloud9 Tempest still looking like they want to play aggressively, like they want to dictate the pace.
Oh man, Maple Street's the best AD carry. He's my favorite AD carry right now because he's actually got 2 pink wards in his inventory.
Wow.
Contributing to the Vision.
Helping out, guys. A lot of CDR on him, but RF with the split push top lane is working. Even though Solo had teleport, he does not show himself into that fight. This siege, we talked about the lack of wave clear on Renegades, but we're not seeing a lot get done just yet. Another wave comes in.
They're just ready to fight. They're trying to make it so that they can fight before RF gets there.
And remember, there's no teleport, so RF, you're right, he's not here, but there's the knockup. LPL goes in, knocks down Solo, and the battle continues as hard. Also drops a double kill for Remilia, and Law just doesn't have the damage to kill anyone right here. The Q's not coming through. RF enjoying the fight. Pops, the oldie sheep goes down. Alice gets the kill for that one. Katie Smurf just forced to run away. A 3-for-0. Remilia gets her 3rd kill of the fight, now on a rampage.
Oh, you can't dive this composition that has so many tools to be tanky.
Just Gragas and a Yasuo just by itself was a 2.5 lockdown.
And then another stun, and then a suppression that gives Maple Street more tankiness. C9T not poking.
They could have kept playing the siege game.
Not sieging. RF started coming down, right? He started walking down, and he was going to flank eventually, but you don't need to play into their hands like that. That was just sheer panic. We have to go now. It was a good equalizer, but you can see the tiny gold advantage that RNG have. The fact that it is pretty much an on-demand Yasuo ulti to lock up a key target. Just get the Rumble out of the fight immediately. Now RF finally shows up. RNG loses nobody in this fight. And then Lod on the wrong side. There's your Urgot versus Kalista matchup.
Yeah, the thing is, Maple Street got to rush a Frozen Heart, and it's not like he's getting attacked by Solo here, so... yeah, good luck getting through that. Ninja Tabby on Maple Street as well, just the tankiest Urgot. I think he's actually the tankiest member on his team. Yep. As the marksman here. LPL and Lod in a bit of a duel, kind of. Alex gets it by killing the Krugs, though.
Yeah, you always have to watch out for... when you have a composition that has no wave clear, what your other win condition is. And it's fight, pick them off in skirmishes, and C9T are not playing around their strength. That is wave clear, keep pressuring them. You don't have to take these fights. You really don't have to take these fights as C9T. To try to disengage them and keep poking them, because what's their answer to your poke? They don't really have an answer. Their answer is to be pushed into a corner, pop Talisman of Ascension, and try to engage. Also, what RNG did yesterday, which was Crums camping the bottom lane, camping Laud, who is the biggest carry aside from KT Smurf, or the mid lane. KT Smurf up against Alex Each. Alex is confident in that matchup. You can see him right now, 50 CS up, 305 in split push mode. He can capitalize off of that. So yesterday they were camping Laud because that's the carry they wanted to shut down. Today, they counterpicked Laud to shut him down to make sure he couldn't get into this game and carry it and go crazy. So RNG aren't just targeting champions, they're targeting certain players in their strategies.
Yeah. These guys are being held down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Despite the fact that Cloud and Tempest had an early game lead, Renegades was able to slow the game down, play the split push game, win the Twitter vote by a massive margin, and just crush the team fights here. Obviously a big fan following for these guys.
You know what? We pulled it at 28 minutes, so no.
It's cumulative.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a massive vote though.
Yep.
Maybe people are just tweeting it by accident, you know? They're like, oh man, I lost my game, hashtag RNG win.
Well, to be fair, there are 0 crit items on C9T right now. Just imagine what would happen if they all built Infinity Edge. Even Eternity Force, just something, you know?
Yeah, there is more RNG on RNG's side. Yomu's Ghostblade.
Yep. Alex Itch actually went for an early Guardian Angel. You talked about tank stats. He's got even more of them here. It feels like he has just some, like, he's already got enough damage to break through all the squishies he needs. I think it's generally true. Double Marksman and still no Zonias on solo.
Yeah, double Marksman.
Here's a fight. Alex Itch, she's fighting Laud. Good luck, Laud. Good luck, Laud. He's trying. Good dodge. Alex just walks away and life steals back to full.
Didn't get that last Steel Tempest off. No longer wanting to fight, but hard. Oh boy, he doesn't want to fight either. Went to a swippy swap. Whee!
Yep, goodbye. Maple's like, wait guys, I'm over, okay, so far top.
It was my kill.
Nice try. Alex goes with the pink ward. Renegades 10-0 in this game. Definitely looking good for these guys. The patience to wait through the early game deficits. No, RF, oh no, there's a ward. Okay.
I'm a little...
Who doesn't check that brush?
Looking forward, though, Alex Each's performances and the fact that he has a team that plays around him and plays to his strengths as well and allows him to play what he wants is very scary. Moving forward in Challenger, looking at all the mid laners that we've just seen today, he's a very different style than everybody else. We see a lot of poke people, a lot of people who are afraid to fight you. You look at people like Arcsec, and you look at like Wolfie.
Yep.
Look at Peek and Wolf. You look at all these people who want a passive lane, want to get through the lane. Alex is just going to punish you in the lane. And how he matches up against a lot of these challenger mid laners seems very lopsided at the moment.
That's very true.
Considering...
Oh. I mean, he's going to flash follow you and then just get slowed and waste his flash, so...
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're really willing to fight sometimes. You just look silly. But, you know, a lot of times it looks really cool. Alex has been carrying a couple of team fights here. It's just... Sometimes the risk doesn't pay off, and Alex will go back to his farm.
But back to my previous point is last time we saw Alex really play in competitive, it was with TDK up against Pobelter on Winterfox. And you can see Pobelter on CLG is having a huge effect for them.
Yeah.
He's played against really good mid laners very recently, and he's withstood the test.
Yeah,
now he's pretty much carrying this game. Down bottom though, oh, he dove the turret!
You're just going hard, even though there's a, yeah, goodbye. Seeker's Arm Guard doesn't matter. Alex Itch, this is 5'11". That turret still slows you and lowers your damage output. Alex doesn't care. The late armor purchases for solo, not good for him.
Split push mode.
Really gets caught up. Throw a lot of damage, and of course, Alex isn't here. This is the kind of fight that they really kind of need. Cloud and Tempest is doing whatever they can to win this. Laud and Sheep putting a lot of damage under Crums. RF trying to run away, but Baron Nashor hits him to get the kill. Laud refuses to chase. The Gragas would have gotten the kill. But hard now on the chase towards Maple Street. They need magic damage. They don't have any. Bottom inhibitor has gone down to the Yasuo, but the chase finally is going to succeed. 3 kills to 1 for the Baron attempt. Alex gets the...
Alex is going to continue to do this, though. Alex is going to continue to smack this turret.
He's not going to get much more than this turret. I don't think will go down. Good equalizer. They actually might kill Alex, and they might get the Baron as well. This could be a massive turnaround. Crums is alive. He's got Smite. I don't know if he's going to kill anyone. It's going to be close. And keep in mind, there's also a Rend. And Lot is healthy enough to survive.
Oh, boy. He's going to go in. He's going to go in. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Pick up on the bot lane. Pick up on the Baron. Pick up on the Crums. 5 kills in a row, plus a Baron. C9T are back in this.
4,000 gold difference, and they have the wave clear, and they have the Baron. Here's the thing. When you have a team composition that sucks at wave clear and the enemies get Baron, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to deal with. You are going to get poked while trying to kill these just big 80% damage reduction minions. It's an awful place to be in. RNG just gave up a lot of advantages with attempting this Baron while Alex was on it.
That hook really was massive, though. They caught her before she could do any more than one spell.
She didn't do anything. She didn't even get...
She got Tibbers down.
No ignite. She got to throw the Tibbers and flash. But, oh, man.
The anchor toss was massive.
Yeah. Sheep coming up big there. We saw him flash anchor toss in the previous fight. Didn't work out so well, but this one came up huge. And you can see how tanky Maple Street is, that you need to focus on him at some point. But when you're just picking people off left and right, you get that opportunity, it's awesome. Trinity Force, though, completed for Alex.
All right.
You were right on that one.
Yep, assuming he gets the Infinite Edge afterwards, but we're looking at 2 minutes left on the Baron buff, a minute 20 on the Dragon. There is time for C9T to get stuff done. They got those 3 outer turrets in the first 15 minutes. They've gotten none of those objectives in the last 18 here. I want to see them actually get something done. They were given this blessing of getting to push around the map. Right now, they're just playing catch-up. They're getting some items back in. They're stacking armor on hard. They're trying to get the Zhonya's done on solo on the Rumble player. But I don't know how long it's going to take for the growth to come through.
Yeah, and I want to see KT Smurf land an ultimate that sets up the team fight. He's 3 levels down, though. So KT Smurf has had a really, really poor game so far. His CS is down 70. He's 1-1-3, right?
To be fair for part of it, though,
but it's
this
so
was
hard.
Alex being donated like 2 lanes at some time.
Exactly.
Like compared to RF, who's 14, you're like, oh, okay, this is like the normal solo lane level.
Yeah.
A lot of eggs in the Alex Itch basket. He's obviously doing well with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you need to step up to kind of match that. KT Smurf, though, here's the wave clear. They don't have wave clear to deal with this. They're going to get this turret.
But you notice what Renegades are doing. This is very smart. They're sending at least 1 split pusher out. RF is already pushing top lane, gets it into the turret. I think he should actually push for that turret.
Oh, yeah.
He stopped the recall. He was recalling, and it scared me for a second. But, right, they still have the one-on-one advantages. Like, no one can fight Alex Itch 1v1 unless he's fighting a turret, basically. So trying to actually do battle back, like, they're going to equalize the turret kills just by not having Baron.
But you're going to give up Dragon here to C9T. They're going to get their 3rd Dragon of the game. They're going to back. There's going to be pressure on your top turret. Super minions, multiple super minions, I think 2 or 3 in that bottom wave that's going to be hitting very shortly.
Yeah, 2 with a 3rd coming. Well, we'll see. C9T, Baron's going to time out in the next 15 seconds here. Lod can clear this wave away and probably wants to stay for the next one as well. But Renegades, you can see, they are not letting up. They know that a lot of these fights can't be won by Cloud9 Tempest, so they're using some bullet potential. Baron's timed out. Renegades are still ahead in gold. Here with Alex having a Guardian Angel, well, it's down right now because of the tower dive earlier. There's still a lot of room for Renegades to win these fights.
Yeah, they have all the tools to win it. And now the fact that they pressed in, that they got the inhibitor, is really big, because now they can continue to go back to that lane. Alex can continue to split push and threaten these turrets in the bottom lane. Nobody on the team can duel him unless they massively outplay him. But with flash up, it's going to be difficult. And Winwall, with this type of team composition that would look to duel him, it's almost impossible, barring a big mistake.
It's funny, actually. After Alex cleared Krug, this is like a really minor point. He stood still in the brush. I was like, that's a misplay. He should walk to build flow. Then I realized he's facing Rek'Sai. Walking to build flow reveals that he's waiting in the brush. It's like really awkward. You have to like misplay to play properly. It's like really minor point, but like, I think Alex thought about that and was like, yeah, I should sit still for right now until the minion wave shows up. So he's split pushing, but he's level 18. He's only got 1 item slot left as well, so Alex is barely going to grow anymore. And Renegades are still fighting over the scraps of the other 2 lanes, leveling up very, very slowly. And level 16 is going to get hit by like almost everybody in a row right here. Yasuo just hit that, or sorry, Varus just hit that. Rumble's going to hit that soon. Kalista just hit that. So rank 3 ultis are actually another power spike coming in for Cloud9 Tempest. Similarly for Renegades, but if they're sharing a lot of experience, it's going to delay the Urgot and Kennen rank 3 ultis.
Alex back to his split pushing here in the bottom lane. There aren't a whole lot of neutral objectives up for the taking. The entire jungle is absolutely cleared right now. There isn't a single camp up on C9T's side. Dragon down, Baron down for a fair amount. And Alex is just going to go back to split pushing. This inhibitor is back up, but he's going to try to threaten it with RNG on the opposite side of the map, the rest of his team. GA back up for Alex. All he's got is IE left to build. And you said he doesn't have much more room to grow. It'll give him a lot of crit. Yeah. It'll give him that 100%. But the whole point, the whole thing that he struggles from isn't his damage output. It's getting to these squishies to deal the damage.
He's got Ruin King Triforce for mobility. And he's got Merc Treads and Guardian Angel to stay alive. And the rest are there for damage output. We'll see if he can make that happen. 5,000 gold lead for Renegades. They would be the 6th challenger team to 2-0 their first week if they can do it across North America and Europe. Cloud9 Tempest well hyped, but right now having a hard time up against the upstart Renegades here. Waves are definitely Renegades' favor. Baron's at a minute 12, and every single wave is pushed in. The wards are only defensive from C9T. There's a decent number of deep wards for Renegades. Everything points to the red team having the advantage here.
It is a harder to execute team comp, though.
Yep.
Having to split push and coordinate that with somebody who doesn't have TP is extremely hard. You misplay it once. You saw 5 kills go over to C9T off of that.
And a Baron.
And a Baron. They got them right back into the game. So the execution for Renegades is slightly harder, really hard. But C9T also has a hard comp to execute on. You have to keep your squishies safe with what? Other squishies. You don't really have a great front line here, aside from the Nautilus and a little bit of the Rek'Sai. But they're also fairly squishy compared to the damage that RNG has to put out.
And Renegade's going to look at Baron here. 15 seconds on the spawn. They've got pink wards in there. A couple of really nice wards got put down, though, by C9T. That'll be hard to sweep out. One in the back of Baron Pit is not going to be seen by the pink ward.
So they actually swap it up. They put RF into the bottom lane. They make it a little easier for themselves.
Yeah. But here's the attempt in full vision. Teleports are matched. The rest of Cloud and Tempest ready to
go
push
down
in.
Fairly quickly, though. You have this Yasuo going crazy. Here comes the TP. Here comes the flank.
And it's a flank, a big flank teleport from Kennen. They go in towards Solo, who gets CC'd up and can't pop the Zonius. Down goes Rumble. In comes RF. They get the knockup on a lot. Down goes the AD carry. A double kill for the Yasuo. Maplestreet gets the third. 3 for 0 for Renegades.
The skirmish composition, the right teleport into the backline from RF makes everybody panic. KT Smurf didn't even get to flash, didn't even get to cleanse there, locked up and destroyed, and Lod didn't even have any options there as well. This is going to be Renegades taking the inhibitor and possibly taking the game. Double
cannon minions, 35-second respawns. Everyone is there and alive and healthy. This is certainly going to be the game. Renegades in 40 minutes, yet again, 14-5 in kills. Only a single lost team fight, otherwise an immaculate performance. Renegades 2-0. They will be the third NALCS team to tie for first place at the end of week 1.
Hard to execute on composition. Ended up doing it. Ended up being a very, very immaculate game, like you said. And Alex looks like in a different league than most mid laners that we've seen today.
Yeah.
And I want to see how he continues to match up. And I think that's what a lot of people want to see, is how does Alex match up against all of these North American Challenger mid laners?
Yeah. Well, I mean, most mid laners aren't in the North American Challenger Series, so he is in a different league from most other mid laners. But no, you're absolutely right. Alex Ich was completely explosive here. 11 out of 14 kill participation, 6 kills, most on his team, 407 CS, 17,000 gold. Like, every single metric in this game says Alex was absolutely massive and astronomically above everyone else in this game. Everything looking really good. The rest of the team, of course, had a great performance as well. Even though Maplestreet couldn't find the abusive lane matchup, that was fine. He ended up showing up well in teamfights, building armor, and not really getting picked off very much. RF held down on this Kennen, forced to hold a lane freeze for 5 minutes eventually to get back on, but he did, and he was able to flank team fights, and all this worked out well. His teleport flank's also absolutely great. You talked about all these squishies who can't really peel for themselves, and C9T succumb to all these flanks.
Yeah, and that's the way to get into that back line. TP flank them. That's the Kennen dream as well.
Yep. Set up the Baron TP behind on the wards.
Exactly. Just really good setup there from them. And I love the fact that they pre-planned that. They were like, okay, Alex is now with the heart of the group. He's not split pushing anymore, and now RF is the threat of you give up the inhibitor or you give up the Baron, which the Baron will most likely turn into that inhibitor right afterwards.
Yeah.
So putting them in kind of a catch-22 off of the advantages they had gotten from the team fight at Dragon. That was just team fight execution. That was just really great to watch. That 5-0 at Dragon was just really big.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was the first fight that really happened there, Cloud and Tempest. And that was the funny thing is for C9T is they were kind of slowly winning the game, trying to grind it out. Sieging for Tier 2 was hard, but the problem is it felt like they just kind of jumped the gun when trying to go for that Dragon number 3. Because they're winning the wave and they're like, all right, guys, let's just go for Dragon. And Alex is like, cool, I'm already flanking you guys, so good luck with that one. And then Explosive Cask into ulti means he gets to literally 1v2 the double AD carry. And when that happens, you just win the team fight at that point.
Oh man, that flash was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like it's simultaneously a great capitalization by Renegades to take the fight and execute it so cleanly. I mean, that is props, that is well done. But that shouldn't have been available.
Well, they also flanked with Alex. He was behind them for so long. They were constantly trying to flank because when you have double ADs, you want to keep them in the back line. Yeah. And when there's a Yasuo in your back line, you're like, oh god, move forward into the Gragas who's going to knock you into the Yasuo. Right. Like positioning in these fights is so hard to do.
I know. Obviously Renegades did a good job again to build a difficult situation. They executed on the misplay very cleanly. Like, it's not like I can say anything bad about Renegades. They had a bad Baron call with Yasuo bottom lane, and then Alex also overstepped to die to the Rumble afterwards. But this was a very good game by Renegades. Cloud and Tempest, they're clearly a strong team. Their early game was very, very good. They just need to clean up the mid-game decision-making to make sure these kind of comebacks don't happen to them again. Even in Game 1, it was a fairly close battle as well. C9T got a couple of good comebacks, so continued growth by C9T, something we need to see. Certainly they're not out of the woods or out of the race yet. We've still got 4 more weeks of games for all these teams, and we'll see if those O2s can start getting wins back in the column. Either way, though, a good game, and now joining us to talk about the victory on the Rift is Renegades jungler Crums. Crums, welcome to the show. Congrats on the victory, man.
Thank you. It was a fun game.
So tell me about sort of your plans coming into this one. You guys were picked like 0 wave clear and a whole bunch of split pushers. Was this worrisome when you guys were getting behind early on?
No, because we know how the comp performs. It has very specific power spikes, so there's a lot of things that we gave up early that we just didn't want to take fights in. Even though it felt like we may have had the position, we just looked at our items and felt like, no, it's not the right time to fight. You know, Yasuo doesn't have his shiv completed. We don't have the Zhonya's on cannon. So we just waited for the right items, and then we just took a fight. So them playing the early game, how they did was smart by them because they had to punish our comp at that stage, but eventually once the items start coming in with double AD versus like Gragas, Yasuo, Cannon, with Annie and the Nerf God, it's pretty hard to pull off.
So you're making a lot of these calls with the shot calling and like when to fight, when not to fight, right?
Well, I mean, usually we just kind of go into the game plan. Right from the beginning, we discuss, okay, like, do we want to really fight early? What do we need to fight? We don't just want to take these opportunities as they come. We're going to have it planned and really know what we're getting into before just randomly jumping into something.
Okay, so I was told that you're the shot caller of the team. You would say that you are, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when you left Team Dignitas, it was because you were a leader that didn't have people following you and following up on you. Now, you have people like Alex Each following you, a world-class mid laner. How does this feel now in comparison to then?
Well, it's really great because a lot of times I make bad calls and they get followed instantly. I remember yesterday, I think we were playing against the Victor and I was playing Echo and I was just yelling out, okay, we're going to go on Victor. And everybody flashed into Victor because I thought that the stun was going to hit, so I called it and everyone flashed in and we lost the fight horrendously. But, I mean, I still have a lot to work on and everybody has a lot of their say because I don't manage like a lane assignments like where everybody wants to, like where they're taking their farm. It's mostly, okay, let's go contest this or let's go do this or we're going to wait for this specific instance to fight or we're going to try to get a fight from this angle. So everybody still has a big say as to what they want to do, and then from that we get like a unified decision.
That's actually really interesting. I know it's something we've been seeing more and more from teams where it's like the mix of like I'm the shot caller and doing the micromanagement, but everyone else also like always knows like their role during the game where they're supposed to go. How does Renegades stack up against sort of your previous team's experience in terms of everyone's like your teammates' sort of knowledge about the game and you know their own ability to make like correct decisions in just a general game sense? Like, how smart are your teammates, essentially?
I'm not sure where to actually judge that right now, but I know that we're improving very rapidly. Like, I think that the coach, the analysts, the staff has helped a lot in terms of improving everyone. And I think in the last week, I felt like a huge amount of progress being made, and I feel like we're just getting smarter and just really improving how we play as a team. So I wouldn't say that it's just the players being better. I think that the management definitely helps out.
So you're saying that you guys still have a lot to improve on, but what if you took a snapshot of Renegades right now? What place would you guys be if you were in the LCS?
I'd probably just say like the middle. Like I wouldn't go as far as saying to the top. I mean, we haven't played those teams much, and realistically, we still have there's areas that we need to work on. Like maybe the LCS teams are better mechanically, but I think perhaps by the end of the split, like in the time of qualifying, where we're able to actually scrim against the top LCS teams all together, I think we'd be able to have a much better judgment call. But for now, just say middle of the pack.
All right, well, middle of the pack LCS team certainly looking like a very strong challenger team, though. So congrats once more on the win. And final question for you here, Crums. Next week, you guys are facing up against Winter Fox. How do you think you guys stack up against them?
I think we'll beat them. Well, they got 2 kills that were against Coast.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like there's a mismatch in almost every case. Like every lane, yeah, there's a mismatch in every lane. I think our players are better, and I think that our team is better. I mean, and anything can still happen. We have played them in the past just for practice, but I think that it should be a pretty convincing victory. Probably not as clean as how Coast beat them, because they barely gave up any kills, but they took 50 minutes to do so. But I think it'll be wins for us.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us, Crums. Good luck for the rest of your split, and congrats on your win, man.
All right. Thank you.
Sure, of course. So our final games of week 1 are in the books. Let's take a look at the updated challenger standings. It's really clean, really easy. 3-way tie for first place. Renegades, Team Coast, and Team Imagine all 2-0. That means there's also a 3-way tie for last place. Cloud and Tempest, Vortex, and Winter Fox all winless through 2 games. 2-0s across the board in Challenger Series.
Yeah, but they can reverse their fortunes next week at the same day and same time when Vortex squares off with Cloud9 Tempest. Then Team Imagine and Team Coast face off in our second series, and we'll close out the week with Winter Fox against Renegades.
So you're going to see those teams move around a fair bit, as we're going to have 2 0-2s fight and 2 2-0s fight, so that'll be fun. But you guys only have to wait about another 12 hours to get your esports fix. Tomorrow, the European LCS kicks off week 5 as Rocket faces off against Copenhagen Wolves. Then it's Unicorns of Love versus Giants Gaming, and Origin going head-to-head with Gambit. It all starts at 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And that's going to do it for us here at the Challenger Desk. We'd like to say thanks again to our guest Crums for the interview. And on behalf of myself, Zyrene, who needs an introduction, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching, and GG.
I was Zyrene.
Yes. And Alex Hitch is going to try to fight Laud. He gets a lot of damage.
Oh my God!
Gets to the first blood kill, gets the knockout for the second.
No longer wanting to fight, but hard. Oh boy, he doesn't want to fight either. Let's do a swippy swap. Whee!
Yep, goodbye. Down goes Rumble. In comes RF to get the knockup on a lot. Down goes the AD carry, a double kill for the Aswell. Maplestreet gets the third, 3 for 0 for Renegades.